Hello, friends. The 5 things I always do when I'm buying a computer. Uh, it's with this quad core Pentium, my Nuke 7PJYH is a quad core Pentium. It's running great. It For a while for a couple of weeks it was glitchy, but now it's running great. I think that has to do with Microsoft updates and the BIOS. So, the first thing you should do, and I just learned this, you should create a recovery drive. You go to Control Panel, put in recovery. You should create a recovery drive. That means you should own a 16 gigabit flash drive. This is the process. You just plug in your flash drive. You say yes, you want backup system files to the recovery drive. You say next. It does everything else. It's just that simple. Why you want your own recovery drive? That's the next one. If you don't not using an SSD and you want to use an SSD, you want to replace your hard drive with an SSD, using the recovery drive will help you create that. The second thing I always do is I go into System Configuration, I go to the boot menu, and I make the number of processors 4. Because mine is 4, so I keep it at 4. The default is 1. If you have the default is 1. So if you have a dual core, the default is 1. Why? I do want the system to turn on as fast as possible. Why wouldn't you want the maximum number of processors to get your system started? So I would go to System Config, boot advanced options, maximize that to however number of processors you have. Oh, I wanted to add that when you create a recovery drive, you note no product key is required when using the recovery drive to reinstall Windows 10, because the recovery drive captures your product key. No worries. That's so. Once again, you create your own recovery drive. Why? You're on a desert island. You only have a screwdriver, your laptop, and a solid state drive and a USB flash drive. You don't have access to the internet, and you don't know where your product key is. You want to create a recovery drive so you can switch to an SSD. There's a lot of great reasons why you want to have a solid state drive, but the main one is you're not waiting for your hard drive to look for that data and move it. The SSD does that much faster. So not only is it using less power when it does nothing, the SSD uses less energy when it is doing something, because it's taking less time to do it, a lot less time. So that's another reason you want to change to an SSD and your recovery drive, and create a recovery drive. My next thing I always do is I have the website for my computer is my favorites, because I check it all the time for new updates. This one is a laptop I'm working on fixing. It's dead because they need a new hard drive, and it has a lot of updating that it's going to do. So notice I have it on speed dial for that. Oh, and one more. The last thing is add RAM. Well, I take that back. If you have a laptop with 4 gigs of RAM and you can install another 4 or you can install 8, you should. The reason is 4 gigs of RAM is the new bare minimum. That's just enough for you to do one or two things, and that's it. This computer has not only does it have a quad core, but it has a graphics chip, which is great. But that graphics chip uses RAM. That's what I found out. The graphics chip uses RAM. So if you're streaming, and you're streaming and you want to do something else, and you only have the bare minimum of 4, your computer's going to run a little bit slow, and it's going to it's going to run a little slower if you have a hard drive, because then you're doing RAM swapping, and that starts to slow your computer down. So that's why you always want to get some extra RAM. If you only have 4 and you have a second slot, you should get an 8. I didn't have the money, or I probably would have gotten 8 gig stick, but I wound up getting 2 4s, which is fine. So that's my let me see, I wanted 5 things. I think that's 5.